Welcome back. In this third part of my power analysis video, I'm finishing off the original 10 aliens with Stinkfly, Ripjaws, Upgrade, and Ghostfreak. So relax and watch as I explain and rate their powers and abilities. I'm MK Toons, and please like and subscribe. Stinkfly is a lepidopteran from the swamp planet Lepidopteran, and is the first insect alien of the series. Stinkfly is the 7th alien, appearing last in the episode Washington, D.C. Stinkfly has an insectoid body and 4 crab-like legs and 2 arms with 3 clawed hands. He has 4 small eyes on long prehensile stalks connected to his large head, which can all be moved around independently from each other. On his back are 2 very fragile light greenish-yellow dragon-like wings with veins running through them, and his limbs are a brown-greenish color. Stinkfly is the first insectoid alien Ben transformed into, and he undoubtedly caught my attention. He clearly looks like a combination of a dragonfly, a slug, and a scorpion, and pulled it off beautifully. One of my main gripes with the Ben 10 reboot is how they drastically changed Stinkfly and left the other aliens relatively unchanged. I didn't even think he was Stinkfly. In the original series, Stinkfly wore a white sleeveless jumpsuit with black lining which covered most of his body including his head, which is not a mask but part of his biology, and tail. His hands had a black coloration similar to fingerless gloves, and his eyes were yellowish-orange. His mouth has a tongue and gums that are green in coloration, and he had squarish teeth that interlocked when closed. He wore the Omnitrix symbol on the top of his forehead. In Ultimate Alien, 16-year-old Stinkfly looks mostly the same as in the original series, except his eyes were recolored green and he did not have fingerless gloves. The shine on his limbs was also removed. Stinkfly wore the Ultimatrix symbol on his chest in the Ultimate Alien intro. In Omniverse, 16-year-old Stinkfly looks mostly the same as in Ultimate Alien, but with bigger wings, lighter skin, larger eyes and pupils, a jutting underbite, a bigger body and tail, and a slightly redesigned stinger. His clothes are green with black stripes and is spread only until his forehead. Much like in the original series, the Omnitrix symbol is located on his forehead. Lepidoptera has an advanced and highly specialized ecosystem, making it a generally peaceful swamp planet whose numerous species live among a fantastic variety of giant plants. The Lepidopterans live in complexes of giant hives each ruled by its own queen. Every species does its part to make sure the flora continues to produce fruits for harvest so that they can all live together in harmony as they have for countless years. Lepidopterans are Dr. Onimo's favorite aliens, probably since Stinkfly's first debut appearance. Stinkfly has 2 large dragon-shaped insectoid wings on his back, allowing him to move at high levels of speed and agility, enough to keep up with Vilgax's mechadroids in flight. Stinkfly has great stamina to match his speed, as he flew from Mexico to the Temple of Ekchuj before timing out. Stinkfly also has very excellent reflexes and reaction time as he was able to dodge Dr. Onimo's mutagenic beam from near point-blank range, which can be considered a laser, and Stinkfly ducked under a mechadroid's laser beams and intercepted it before it could fire again. These give him a rating of 5 out of 7 in speed. Stinkfly has great strength in proportion to his body structure despite not looking more or less stronger than an average human. Stinkfly being able to carry heavy loads while maintaining steady flight. Stinkfly was able to keep flying while Vilgax was holding on to his tail for a short time, the former much taller and bulky, so likely heavier than 4 arms. Stinkfly's strength, however, is only useful as carrying power, and is less suited for close combat against powerful opponents. However, he can ram into an opponent with enough force to knock them down and cause some damage, like when Kevin as Stinkfly knocked down 4 arms and Ben as Stinkfly harmed the reanimated T-Rex. So he gets a 4 out of 7 in strength. Stinkfly's best-known attack is his ability to produce and squirt high-pressured streams of a slimy liquid from the pollen ducts located inside his eye stalks and mouth. The exact limit at which he can produce the most amount of slime is not stated, but when his slime sacs are full, Stinkfly can weigh about 2 tons, which could be half or a third of his maximum slime production. These liquids can be either a flammable toxin or an effective immobilizing adhesive, and Stinkfly can instinctively choose which type of slime it can be. Stinkfly's slime having properties akin to flame extinguishers, he can use his slime to put out fires by smothering over them. But they can also amplify flames when fire is projected over it. Stinkfly can also use his slime as a means of escape, as he can fire a stream to a safe distance and suck up from his mouth at a fast pace to pull himself upwards like a makeshift grappling hook. It's not pleasant to look at, but it works. Stinkfly's slime has great tensile strength as it stops a runaway helicopter in a spider web-like fashion and momentarily immobilized powerful opponents like Vilgax and Retaliator armor before they break free. Besides liquids, Stinkfly can also release poisonous and methane gases, as well as a powerful herbicide gas, which is capable of killing plants and plant-like creatures. Stinkfly has 2 pairs of snail-like stalks on his head that he's able to move around freely due to their prehensile nature. This grants him 360-degree vision as he can move 2 eyes to the back or top of his head while keeping the 2 eyes forward. His eye stalks in correlation with his slime projection will allow Stinkfly the capability to hit targets in all directions. Stinkfly possesses a large black stinger-like tail that's extremely sharp, able to tear and rend through steel almost effortlessly, like the mechadroid he destroyed in Revealed. His tail is also an ultra-sensitive receptor, making it like an antenna. Stinkfly has 3 clawed fingers and sharp-pointed legs that allows him to cling to solid surfaces like any insect, along with enhanced dexterity as he can use his 3-fingered hands to easily operate a cell phone demonstrated by his Ben 23 counterpart Big Bug. Overall, Stinkfly gets a 3/7 in power as his abilities don't do too much damage, but he does get a 6/7 in versatility as those abilities are very useful in almost any situation. Stinkfly possesses an exoskeletal body that's fairly strong and resilient, allowing him to survive being smashed through a building and said building caught in a large explosion with him inside it, and yet was unscathed. Stinkfly is also capable of breaking out of being frozen solid. Stinkfly has a rating of 7/7 in durability. Stinkfly is well known to be accompanied by a foul natural odor, hence his name. This stink is caused by oils he secretes to keep his exoskeleton joints moving. While Stinkfly's oils help him move, the smell it creates can be an inconvenience, especially if he's trying to hide or run from anything or anyone who can smell him. Stinkfly's natural predator is the bug lizard, as the creature can produce special gases that can neutralize the Stinkfly's slime and is naturally immune to his gases as well. Stinkfly's wings are very fragile despite his rather strong exoskeleton body. Water especially is a problem for him, as if his wings are too wet he'll be rendered incapable of flight. Furthermore, Stinkfly cannot swim very well due to the small surface area of his limbs. Stinkfly's tail, while powerful, is also a weak spot as someone can tie him in place by his tail and render him immobile. Stinkfly is vulnerable against electricity, as it can render him unconscious if he takes too much damage. Fire is also dangerous to Stinkfly, as his gases are highly flammable and he can be frozen in ice as well. In terms of potential, while Stinkfly is among the weaker aliens, he does possess a great deal of utility if used cleverly, thus he gains a 3/7. Stinkfly has been used 35 times and won 29 of those times, gaining a win percentage of 6/7. Final thoughts. Stinkfly comes up short in terms of raw power and close combat utility compares to other aliens in the Omnitrix. But he has compensated with his high-speed aerial maneuverability, versatile slime projections and toxic gases, and sharp stinger, making him one of Ben's best aliens for mid-air combat, and he also has great rescue capabilities, giving him a score of 32 out of 49, a high 7A large city-level alien ranked D-class. Ripjaws is a Pisces volan, a natural predator in the underwater world of Pisces. Ripjaws is the 8th alien, appearing solo in the episode The Kraken. Ripjaws shares a number of traits with Earth's aquatic life, such as an alligator, an eel, an anglerfish, and a shark. He can change between a fishtail with triangular lines or legs at will and has a phosphorescent light on his head. In the original series, Ripjaws' body was mostly gray and he had 4-fingered hands. He wore the original Omnitrix symbol on a black patch over his left pectoral. In Ultimate Alien, Ripjaws had a catfish-like face, green eyes with black pupils, chest plates similar to Humongosaur, 3-fingered hands, a green lure, and green lips. His tail was colored gray like his skin, and his fins were a darker shade of green than in the original series. He wore the Ultimatrix symbol on his chest. In Omniverse, 16-year-old Ripjaws mostly resembles his original appearance, except that his eyes are green. He now has arm and neck braces. His antenna light is green. He has a big fin on his back. The fins on his arms are longer and he is now hunched back. His claws are black, and his tail is bigger and drags behind him. He now has a belt in place of the strap that holds the Omnitrix symbol on it. Pisces is one enormous, planet-sized ocean that makes up most of the entire planet, with the only land mass being the core of the planet making up 2% of the whole. Pisces is all held together by an artificial gravity multiplier generating centripetal force that keeps a liquid atmosphere held together, which as of the Ultimate Alien episode, Deep, was replaced by Goop's anti-gravity projector. Despite this absence of land, seaquakes and tremors happen fairly frequently, and it has been shown to thunderstorm on Pisces, with thick murky clouds. Most of the species on Pisces are predatory in nature, with not only the Pisces volans but also the Pisces pre-man, crab species, Pisces kraken, and other inhabitants that dwell deeper are some species that resemble barracuda with sharp teeth, a swordfish-like species that can regrow and shoot out its beak as a projectile, and an eagle ray-like species. Pisces volans inhabit depths closer to the surface, and are not considered native to the waters further down, which are inhabited by more fish-like species. However, Pisces volan society takes it upon themselves to venture down and heavily guard the core of the planet, and even separate themselves from its gravitational multiplier by way of an air-filled room. This makes it the most inaccessible place on Pisces. Ripjaws can breathe underwater thanks to his gills and swim at high speeds with amazing agility and maneuverability. He displays the distinctive ability is to morph his legs into a large fish's tail and vice versa, giving him a merman-like appearance. While outside the water environment, he displays a loincloth with a similar pattern to his tail. This allows him to swim very well at great speed to keep up with speedboats and the Kraken. Ripjaws possesses the nature of abyssal aquatic life, like his glowing blank eyes allowing him to see clearly underwater, and his glowing phosphorescent lure on his forehead that acts as a light in dark murky areas. Using his ability to swim at high speeds, Ripjaws can swim fast enough to create a large vortex a mile deep underwater along with Sheilane and Mr. Bullman, the force of which was powerful to rocket Vulcanus and his minions straight into the surface. A kinetic force that should be 26.6 tons of TNT. Ripjaws has a lot of natural weaponry, like his most famous and deadly namesake, his large jaws and sharp jagged teeth, being able to shred even the metal of submarines, which are designed to withstand 900 psi at their maximum. Ripjaws can also unhinge his jaws, allowing him to fit a mass supply of objects in his mouth and stomach. Pisces volans are said not to be picky eaters, as they can eat virtually anything, as their jaws can easily crush and slice through steel. He also possesses razor-sharp claws capable of damaging metal and piercing the solid stone of mountains. Ripjaws is rather durable and has great endurance and can withstand great underwater pressure, the force of 4 elephants standing on top of him, and return to surface waters without feeling any negative side effect from the pressure difference, such as the bends. He can also tank a powerful hit from Vulcanus and got thrown against Shelane's ship, while unfazed. Ripjaws possesses greatly enhanced strength, being able to easily punch a hole in a dock, tear open a door of the perplexahedron that might weigh near 20 tons, slam a mechaneer into the ground hard enough to rock a nearby shipwreck, carry and lasso a 200-pound anchor, and battled against Vulcanus underwater and destroyed his latest mechanical suit, one of which had knocked down Big Chill and took attacks from Spider Monkey. Ripjaws can use his loincloth wraps as a tail or whip for combat on dry land, as demonstrated by the Pisces Volan prisoner and Gwen 10. Other members of his species like Magister Pike was able to defeat a horde of sea creatures easily, and Magister Perelidae knocked down Phil's monster form. Ripjaws could easily be just as powerful as them, or even more so, as he is a genetically perfect Pisces Volan. Ripjaws gets a 6 out of 7 in strength and raw power, a 2 out of 7 in versatility, a 6 out of 7 in durability, and a 5 out of 7 in speed. Despite his impressive abilities, Ripjaws has many problematic weaknesses. His greatest is that he can only be used underwater and can't stay on land for very long. If Ripjaws wants to stay on land, he would require water or cool temperatures to keep him from dehydrating. If he doesn't have any way of keeping himself hydrated for long enough, he could die. However, as Ripjaws grows older, he becomes less reliant on water for survival, as he can stay outside of water with no trouble at age 16, making him amphibious. It's because of this weakness that Ripjaws was used very little throughout the franchise, meaning he is one of Ben's least experienced alien transformations. Exposure to fire will cause Ripjaws to dehydrate faster, and electricity is highly dangerous to him. Ripjaws can be immobilized in solid ice and cannot swim well against strong water currents. Ripjaws' bite is ineffective against certain materials, such as a Petrosapiens crystal skin, as demonstrated with the Pisces Volan prisoner, and the Great One's exoskeleton in the episode The Big Tick. While Ripjaws is quite impressive and a great alien in his own right, in the grander scheme of the Omnitrix he doesn't quite measure up. Due to him being too over-specialized for underwater environments, a pretty weak potential of 3 out of 7. Ripjaws has been used 21 times and has won 17 of those times, gaining a win percentage of gaining a 6 out of 7. Final thoughts. Ripjaws is more powerful than people give him credit. He can certainly hold his own against stronger opponents, and with his jaws, sharp teeth, and claws. He is Ben's best choice in underwater combat and exploration. However, he's only at his best underwater and not as useful in most other situations. So Ripjaws is a 7C town-level alien with a score of 34 out of 49 and a rank of C-class. Upgrade is a galvanic mechamorph from Galvan Prime's moon Galvan B. They're an artificial species created accidentally when Azimuth was experimenting on making Galvan B a habitable environment. Upgrade is the 9th alien, appearing first in the episode Retirement. Upgrade has a black exterior with green stripes that resembles circuitry all over him. The green circle on his head is his eye, which glows whenever he talks. In the original series, Upgrade's front torso was white and the original Omnitrix symbol was on his chest. In Ultimate Alien, Upgrade's front torso was recolored green with black circuitry patterns, and the Ultimatrix symbol on his chest was recolored green. In Omniverse, 16-year-old Upgrade is more muscular, his circuit pattern has changed slightly, and the Omnitrix symbol is inside the ring of his eye. Galvan B was originally like Earth's moon, miles of dead barren rock, no day or night, and specially no atmosphere. It was only until Galvan's scientists, led by Azimuth, performed an experiment to terraform the moon for future colonization. However, the project accidentally brought forth an entirely new alien species. The Galvans allowed them to keep their world and live in peace as neighbors. With their help they built an entire civilization in mere days. Due to being comprised entirely of trillions of nanites and a completely amorphous, organic metal, Upgrade has the ability to reshape his humanoid form and move like liquid does, even though he's a solid being, and let projectiles or blows pass through him by creating holes in his body at will. Upgrade's physiology is extremely flexible and can stretch himself very far. And he also possesses impressive shape-shifting abilities, allowing him to alter his body shape in order to form spikes, tentacles and extra limbs even while merging with technology, like when he morphed into a similar body structure of 4 arms, complete with the extra pair of arms. And Upgrade can morph his arms into weapons and tools, such as maces, hammers, blades. Upgrade can also use his shape-shifting powers to reshape his body's width to the point of acting like a parachute in order to glide through air for temporary flight and gently descend before landing safely. Upgrade can even alter his own size, which can come in handy for possessing machines larger than him. It is unknown if there's a limit to how large Upgrade can grow, as a Mechamorph guard grew to the size of a building and Malware could grow 3 times larger than even way big. Due to his nanite, liquid-like physiology, Upgrade can pass through all sorts of small spaces, create holes in his body for projectiles to pass through, can be bisected any number of times, with no harm done to him, and can easily rejoin any separated pieces of himself, all whilst also being able to maintain the metallic hardness of his nanites. Upgrade can generate solid constructs made of his nanites, such as pillars and large spikes from the ground, as demonstrated by Malware. Upgrade's most impressive and prominent ability is his ability to merge with and possess any technology by encasing his liquefied body over it. His DNA is programmed with blueprints of every alien technology in the universe, allowing Upgrade to merge with and possess any technology by encasing himself over it, regardless of the size of the device, and he controls it as naturally as his own body. When he merges, his black and green circuitry pattern spreads across the technology's surface to fit its proportions, although he also has the ability to perfectly replicate the technology's original colors. When he merges, Upgrade enhances the technology into Ultratech, making it far more advanced and futuristic beyond human capability, causing new features to form. After Upgrade separates from the machine, it returns to its normal state. Upgrade's technological possession can work on non-electrical machinery, such as a row machine, and even metallic objects like knight armor and swords. This ability extends to even sentient beings who are mechanical in nature, like Chronosopians, or organic beings with technology integrated with their biology like Rojo and Rex. Upgrade not only improves the technology he possesses, he can also reconfigure it to suit any situation he desires, like turning the Rust Bucket into a battleship equipped with an arsenal of heavy energy weapons, jet propulsion, and retractable robotic arms. This ability to transform the technology he possesses is seemingly limitless, as Upgrade can turn a baseball pitching machine he merged with into a tripod-like robot that fires a seemingly infinite amount of baseballs, transforming vehicles like the Rust Bucket and Kevin's car into battle-ready machines and mecha suits. If Upgrade possesses a computer or control terminal, he can hack and manipulate it to execute commands as he wishes, even over entire networks. Upgrade has demonstrated this by assuming control of both a video game console and the entire Plumber headquarters. If given external empowerment, Upgrade can transport himself and organic creatures into the world of a video game, and vice versa. Whilst inside, he can change and manipulate the game's code just by thinking it. Upgrade can also repair damaged machinery with ease and come out unscathed, as demonstrated by Azimuth when he used the Retaliator armor to absorb the pieces of the destroyed Rust Bucket and reassemble them anew. He is also able to restore manipulated or conjoined technologies back to their original states. Upgrade has grown skilled enough with his technokinesis that he can even enhance devices just by touching them or separate and release a part, or extremity, of his body to touch a piece of technology to begin possessing and control them without fully merging, like Rook's proto-tool. And having a vast knowledge allows him to mimic and shape-shift into technology. Upgrade can also use his technological possession to damage any technology he desires and doesn't need to completely inhabit technology to begin possessing it, and can in fact phase right through them without disturbing the integrity of their surface, as shown with a Mechadroid, and Rex. Upgrade can also make his head or face appear from anywhere on the machines he possesses. Upgrade can also telekinetically move and control any piece of technology he is possessing, but that is not attached to his main body, even while possessing something else as well. Like his species the Galvanic Mechamorphs, Upgrade is able to manipulate the landscape of Galvan B. Upgrade has biomechanical blood which when energized, allows him to fire a powerful green plasma blast from his eye and also from his hands. Upgrade can use said plasma energy to form energy constructs like an energy spike and generate a strong beam of light that can harm ectonurites, and generate electrical charges capable of shocking his opponents into submission and can also conduct these charges throughout his body. Upgrade is by far the most versatile of the aliens in the original 10 and his technokinetic abilities are very powerful, granting him a rating of a perfect 7 out of 7 in both raw power and versatility. Upgrade possesses incredible great strength. He can throw a sewer lid hard enough to cut a megawatt in half, knock an opponent as big and heavy as Vilgax off his ship, and overpower Victor who can casually lift 50 to 60 ton tanks. Rating him a 6 out of 7 in strength. Upgrade gets a 3 out of 7 in durability. While he can withstand laser blasts from the proto-tool without physical damage, he can still be torn apart by stronger opponents. However, Upgrade possesses incredible regeneration that restores his body to its original shape even after being reduced to a puddle. He can also enhance his durability by possessing certain large machines. The same can be said for his strength as well. At his best, Upgrade is somewhat average to an athletic human, but he kept up and hit a megawatt which can travel at lightning speed and has avoided Rojo's laser beams. And Upgrade has the ability to travel inside and along electrical currents and appear in another place at the speed of lightning, almost like teleportation, giving him a rated of 5 out of 7. Like his strength and durability, Upgrade can improve his physical speed by possessing technology, as such merging with a motorcycle to keep up with a speeding car. He could also fly at Mach speeds by merging with a jet, and could fly through space by merging with a spaceship. Due to being inorganic, Upgrade can survive in the vacuum of space and also breathe underwater, the latter shown by Malware. And his technological nature grants him digitalized vision, making him resistant to illusions, and his circuitry can glow in the dark. Upgrade is immune to being transformed into an esoterica by Dagon, as demonstrated by Ship. Upgrade is also resistant to fire and strong heat. Upgrade is capable of transmitting distress signals, as demonstrated by Ship. And he's also able to store people or objects within his body, as demonstrated by Malware. Upgrade is able to spawn smaller animalistic mechamorphs, as shown when Bazel spawned Ship. However, it is only possible to do so once he has absorbed an animalistic galvanic mechamorph. While Upgrade's control over machine is impressive, it's not absolute. As sentient, intelligent machines like Slick's Vigma can easily fight him off if Upgrade merges with them against their will. He also has a hard time overriding advanced security systems or combat computer viruses, such as those of the Megacruiser and Plumber headquarters, respectively. Upgrade can also be forcibly separated from machinery. Upgrade is highly sensitive to electromagnetic pulses or fields and magnetic fields, the latter of which has been demonstrated by Fistina as a galvanic mechamorph hybrid. And due to being a swarm of nanomachines, Upgrade is weak against electricity, such as that generated by nosodemians and conductoids, the latter of which has been demonstrated with Malware. Upgrade can be affected by computer viruses and an immune as sleeping dust, and controlled by Vladats via their corrupturus. Upgrade can be crystallized and trapped by Petrosapiens, as also demonstrated with Malware. As Upgrade is a galvanic mechamorph, he is vulnerable to being petrified by Malware. Because strong corrosive can upset his delicate chemistry, Upgrade is very weak against acids and lava. When possessing technology, Upgrade is able to falter in producing constructs not exactly how he had envisioned them, seen when he upgraded a tank by adding even more guns to it. Upgrade can be hurt if he is pulled and stretched hard enough, as shown when he was attacked by Dr. Onimo's mutant squid. Upgrade is vulnerable to having his energy absorbed, which leaves him petrified afterwards. Upgrade is vulnerable to being turned into a smoothie by a Robicampus multipede. Upgrade's technokinetic abilities and biomechanical nature gives him almost infinite possibilities with any kind of technology all over fiction. So Upgrade gets a full 7 out of 7 in potential. Upgrade has been used 35 times and has won 26 of those times, gaining a win percentage of gaining a 5 out of 7. Final thoughts. Upgrade is by far the most versatile alien of the original 10 and one of in the Omnitrix. His technological powers give him an advances against foes that relies on weaponry, and he can adapt to virtually any environment. He gains a final score of 40 to 49 out of 49, 7A large mountain to 5C moon level alien with a rank of S-class. Ghostfreak is an ectonorite from Anerphados in the Aner system. He is the 10th and final alien of the OS-10, appearing second in the episode Retirement. Anerphados is a fairly dark planet surrounded in bone-like protrusions. The planet, and by extension the ectonurites, lives close and have adapted to an antimatter sun. Explaining their protoplasmic DNA. Anerphados is the galaxy's most dangerous mystery. Very little is known about it since no Voyager has ever returned to tell the tales of their visit. Ghostfreak is a phantom/ghost-like alien with a gaseous appearance and claw-like hands, and gray skin with black lines running all over him. His skin is removable with black and white striped tentacles underneath it. In the original series, Ghostfreak's original Omnitrix symbol peeked out of his skin on his lower left chest, and he had a pink eye with a black pupil. In Alien Force, Ghostfreak looked exactly like Zosker did in the same series, except his eye was green and the original Omnitrix symbol was on his chest. In Ultimate Alien, Ghostfreak looked like the enslaved chimera Sway Jennery from Ghost Town but was more muscular. His eye was bigger and green with a black pupil, and the spikes on his elbows were gone. Ghostfreak wore the Ultimatrix symbol on his chest. In Omniverse, Ghostfreak now has green chains all over his front side which lead to his neck, waist, and center/chest. The spikes on his elbows have returned, his skin is now a greenish-white shading, and he has 2 cuffs on each of his arms. The Omnitrix symbol is located at the center of his chains. When possessing someone, he has a green glow. His tentacles are now black and purple striped and his eye is colored green. During the original series, Ghostfreak appeared to share the same personality as Zosker, making himself a dangerous alien to use. This was proven in Alien Force, when Zosker completely took over Ben when he turned into Ghostfreak. By Ultimate Alien, however, Ghostfreak has begun to exist as a separate individual whose character was independent from Zosker's. As of Omniverse, Ghostfreak's connection to Zosker is no longer an issue, making him safer to use. Ghostfreak possesses many powers that closely resemble aspects of traditional ghosts from myth and lore such as flight, levitation, phasing through solid matter and energy, intangibility, invisibility, and body possession. Ghostfreak can make himself intangible and invisible as both a powerful defense and a way of infiltrating high-security locations. Ghostfreak has what is described as ultimate intangibility. He can choose to selectively make parts of himself corporeal or slightly corporeal. This extended technique can be used to interact with the world or fight while still intangible. It can also be used in a more deadly way by interacting with someone's internal body parts and organs, such as causing a stroke by attacking Thumbskull's brain. Ghostfreak is capable of making other objects or people intangible and transparent through physical contact. This feat was first demonstrated by Zosker. Ghostfreak can also make people feel deathly cold by simply moving right through them. Ghostfreak is able to possess the bodies of his opponents and take control of their movements to the point where he can cause them to fly like himself, allowing him to freely slam them against walls or hit themselves. He can also access the abilities of other beings that possess superpowers. In the case of Darkstar, he also had access to his powers once he possessed him to close the magic portal. And Ghostfreak can completely erase someone's consciousness or soul while possessing them if his willpower is stronger, as demonstrated by Zosker. Ghostfreak can possess virtually any living being including, but not limited to, Floruna, Vladats, Necrophrygians, Atrocians, Polymorphs, Galvanic Mechamorphs, Nanochips, Chronosopians, Anidites, and even Celestial Sapiens and other ectonurites. Ghostfreak can sprout 5 tentacles from under his second layer of skin that he uses to grab things and scar opponents into submission. These tentacles can grow sharp thorns that can be used as lethal weapons. While all other ectonurites disintegrate under intense light, Ghostfreak on the other hand is immune to sunlight due to possessing some of Ben's DNA within him and the Omnitrix. Ghostfreak can alter his shape and deform like gas by making himself into a gray, somewhat transparent smoke-like wispy form. While in this form, he is immune to being absorbed by Gutrix species. Ectoneurites do not have mana, because they are not alive in the conventional way that other life forms are. As such, Ghostfreak is immune to life energy absorbing abilities like Darkstar and Vladats. As demonstrated by ZS Scare, Ghostfreak's tail is prehensile. He is capable of telepathy, able to disrupt electronics by phasing through them, and Ghostfreak can regenerate after being burned by light. Although he never trained himself to do so, Ghostfreak may be able to convert other species into ectoneurites by possessing them, briefly merging with them, and then leaving the victim, causing them to morph into ectoneurites completely subservient to him. Being defeated would cause his minions to return to normal or Ghostfreak turning back into Ben. Ghostfreak is capable of telekinesis, shown off by Zoskare while he was still in the Omnitrix, when he used his power to make flames erupt from Bunsen burners. Although he has never trained himself to do so, he can rotate his skull much like Zoskare. When Ghostfreak removes his second skin, he can enter his true form and gain extra abilities, such as in his true form, Ghostfreak's telekinesis is greatly enhanced, being able to even move an entire pillar and collapse a roof without any effort, and he can project powerful ectoplasmic energy beams from either the tentacles in his chest and/or his hands, as demonstrated by Zoskare. These energy beams were strong enough to push back Vilgax as he had his shield of Seagull, whereas Jetray's Neuroshock blasts were completely negated and said Neuroshock blasts could destroy meteorites. And Vilgax's shield repelled the laser blasts of this spaceship and said spaceship was cleanly bisected in half. When Ghostfreak is in total darkness, like outer space, all his powers and abilities will be greatly enhanced to their full potential. This feat was also demonstrated with Zoskare. Ghostfreak's raw power rating gets a 7 out of 7 and a 7 out of 7 in versatility, as he possesses a plethora of impressive abilities and hacks that gives him the edge against more powerful opponents. Ghostfreak possesses enhanced strength, enough to throw away Vilgax's Mechadroid, which is slightly bigger than a car, and grab onto a large bus, filled with people inside, by his tentacles when it was thrown. While Ben never fought Vilgax as Ghostfreak, his DNA source Zoskare was physically strong enough to fight equally with Vilgax, and take many of his blows as well. Vilgax, at that time, was 5 times stronger than he was in the original series. Ghostfreak also possesses razor sharp that are capable of easily tearing through steel, and cut Vilgax's back. So Ghostfreak is at least a 6 out of 7 in strength. In speed, while Ghostfreak doesn't have legs, he is capable of flight and levitation, which he can use to soar through the air at high speeds. Such as Zoskare was able to dodge some of Vilgax's punches, whom could consistently tag and intercept XLR-8, and XLR-8 could easily outrun natural lightning. In another instance, Zoskare dodged a blast from Max's sun gun, which he stated was a beam as bright as sunlight and likely just as fast, putting him at 7 out of 7 in speed. Ghostfreak has enhanced durability as well. He could withstand a punch from Krob that threw him against a wall. And Zoskare withstood getting punched by blocks and feedback's electric blasts, having a durability rating of 5 out of 7. Ghostfreak is able to store small objects under his skin flaps, as demonstrated by Zoskare. Ghostfreak has his consciousness genetically bonded to his DNA. A piece of DNA is all that is needed to recreate the same being entirely. Ghostfreak has a single, eerie glowing eye that can move along the black vein on his second because he can't turn his head, giving 360-degree vision. Like all residents of the Anner system, Ghostfreak is immune to the effect of corrodium and can see in the dark. Since Ghostfreak is not alive in the conventional sense, he does not need oxygen to breathe and can easily survive in the vacuum of space. This was exclusively demonstrated by Zoskare. However, despite how powerful Ghostfreak's intangibility is, it is useless against another being able to go intangible like Big Chill, as both their abilities cancel each other out. But Ghostfreak can use this as an advantage if he's clever enough. There are certain substances that can neutralize Ghostfreak's intangibility and invisibility, such as the special orange liquid used by Krob. Gut Rot is also capable of replicating this liquid in a gaseous form. Ghostfreak's intangibility is not instinctual and require him to consciously activate it, so opponents can land a hit if he is caught off guard, as seen when he got hit by a punching bag that Thumbskull threw at him while he was distracted. There are a number of weaknesses that Ghostfreak is vulnerable to if he remains tangible and caught off guard. For example, he can be trapped by an evolved Arachnochimp's webbing. He can be immobilized by an evolved Necrophrygian's ice flames. He can be harmed by electricity, such as that generated by Transilians and Conductoids, as demonstrated with ZS Scare. And he can be controlled and hypnotized by Vladats via their Corrupturus, as demonstrated by many Ectoneurite residents of Aner Transil. Ghostfreak's possession abilities can be countered, as the Omnitrix is capable of protecting its users from Ectoneurite possession. As such, Ectoneurites are unable to possess Omnitrix wielders and their transformations, including the sentient ultimate forms, when inside the Ultimatrix. Even in the wielder's regular form, the Omnitrix is capable of holding off Ectoneurites for a short time. There are also certain beings that Ghostfreak cannot possess, such as zombies due to them lacking minds of their own, and Dagon. Ghostfreak can be tracked by opponents who can sense heat or use thermographic vision, as demonstrated by Krob. Even if Ghostfreak does possess someone, it may be possible for them to reject him out of their body, as shown with Mavriedel. Ghostfreak, like all other Ectoneurites, cannot survive on Aner Vladius. He can easily be scared by Topic's face, and can be affected by an immune as sleeping dust. Ghostfreak is one of the most unique of the Omnitrix's transformations, as he is so far the only ghost-themed alien, aside from Big Chill. As such, his powers give him a significant edge against most people. Like he can possess any life form and use their own powers, which is useful against multiple opponents. His ultimate intangibility makes him nigh invincible, as he can hit enemies and avoid attacks at the same time, provided he consciously uses it. Thus Ghostfreak gets a 6 out of 7 in potential. Ghostfreak has been used 19 times and has won 11 of those times, gaining a win rate percentage of a 4 out of 7. Final thoughts. Even without Zoscare's consciousness, Ghostfreak is still a powerful and potentially dangerous alien. Possessing a total score of 42 out of 49, which is one of the highest among the OS 10, making him a 6C island-level alien with a rank of A-class. Final thoughts of Original Series 10. I'm finally finished with analysis on the original 10 aliens. It was long and difficult work, but I'm proud of it regardless. The original series aliens that make the Ben 10 franchise great are not only the most iconic but also quite powerful in their own individual right. As you can see here, most of their scores are between 35 to 49, with only Grey Matter below 30, as he is the weakest among the playlist comparatively. If you disagree with these results, that's fine. These rankings aren't completely accurate to their capability in battle, and it usually depends on who's using these aliens, and besides, these are mostly just for fun. So please like, subscribe and get notified when I upload my next videos analyzing the additional 10 aliens. Find out next time. This has been MK Tunes. For now, goodbye.